So when I broke my hand, unlike my spine, they didn't send me to physical therapy once it healed. So to find out exercise to do to get my strength back in my hands and my wrist, I just did a bunch of research from strength and conditioning coaches online. I also studied what other athletes were doing, and I just picked up exercise from coaches I've had from the years of football and martial arts. But today I'm just going to show you 5 unique exercises that you might not have heard of before. And these exercises have helped get my hand up to the strength of my other hand. And now I just find that I have really good grip strength. And I promise if you do these exercises consistently, your hands will get significantly stronger, which is super important if you're doing martial arts, because if you want to be able to punch someone without hurting your hand or your wrist, or be strong when you're doing gi jiu-jitsu to be able to grab onto the people's collar and whatnot, or just maintain your gable grip when wrestling, or if you're doing Muay Thai and you want to control someone's posture in a clinch, you're gonna need good grip strength, and these exercises will help. This exercise I got from Triple G. I've also seen other fighters like Matt Brown do it, but tons of boxers do this to prevent hand and wrist injuries, and that's why I do it. Of course, it will get you strong if you're doing stuff like grappling too, but the main reason I do this is so I don't hurt my wrist. The first time I tried this exercise, I felt it a lot in my wrist and it even kind of hurt, but now that I do it, I barely even feel it. Right now I'm doing it with a 25-pound weight, which might seem like very light, but it's actually pretty hard if you try it. Of course, there are some freaks of nature like Brian Shaw, who uses a 70-pound kettlebell for this, but just make sure when you do these, your elbow is still connected to the floor. Now this is great if you're doing gi jiu-jitsu. It's the towel pull-up, and it's literally the same thing as if you're pulling someone's gi. And your fingers might hurt at first, just like actual jiu-jitsu, but later on, if you do these enough, they won't. Before I was only able to do 3, but now I'm busting out 10 pretty easily. And this is an exercise I learned about when I was playing football. But this is probably my favorite exercise on this list. Now, this exercise I got from Daru, and I started doing these a lot because my first Muay Thai coach explained to me that a lot of people let their wrists go limp when they're in their guard, and you have to keep a strong wrist position, and this exercise just makes you keep it. I'll show you what I mean in a second. But doing hammer curls like this also works out a muscle in your forearm and the muscle in your bicep. And it's called your brachioradialis, I think. But it's good to do hammer curls also just to prevent elbow injuries. But the thing I was talking about that my first Muay Thai coach was super adamant on with me was just making sure when you're in your guard, your wrists don't go limp like this. And then when you block, like it's not a strong block. He was just always super big on me, like keeping a strong wrist position. So when I block, it's like more sturdy. And yeah, this exercise will help a lot keeping your wrist nice and strong instead of letting it go limp. And if you want to focus a little bit more on your brachioradialis and your forearms, or you just want to mix it up if you do these a lot, you can also just do regular hammer curls. Like I said before, I learned about this from Louie Simmons because he had the powerlifters he coached do these to prevent elbow injuries. Now, I got this from Louie Simmons, who was a powerlifting coach, but he also trains MMA fighters. But this you could use with dumbbells shaped like this, or you could use with the bottoms of kettlebells if they're small. But with these, you could either do it with a heavier weight and hold it for a little bit shorter. Like in the previous video, I was doing 30 pounds and I was only able to do like 20 or 30 seconds. But with this, I'm doing 25 pounds and I'm able to hold on to it for much longer. So I don't think one is better than the other. I just recommend doing a bunch of different variations of it, like sometimes do short time, sometimes do a long time. Now, last thing I'm going to show you is just something I did when I dislocated my pinky playing football. My friend Doji gave me one of these, which is where you just go like here and widen and widen, and yeah, it just works out your fingers. And you could buy a set on Amazon for only $10, and also comes with these, which is just you just keep it in your pocket and you squeeze it throughout the day. And this is something that Joe Rogan recommends doing for all like MMA fighters and grapplers. Like you said, it helped him out a lot, so if it works for Joe Rogan, it works for me. But yeah, I highly recommend just getting a set on Amazon that comes with 3 of these and 3 of these. The other one's in my car right now because, I keep it with me everywhere I go. But yeah, I just recommend getting them for $10 and just squeezing them throughout the day. And before, like, this actually used to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but now I could do it, pretty easily. And now, kind of a bonus thing I want to let you know about was something that John Danaher really advocates for, and that's rope climbs. I'm gonna link the video where he talks about it in the description below, but he just said this is his favorite exercise when it comes to building good grip strength. And if you don't know, John Danaher is kind of like the definition of a jiu-jitsu wizard. He's just someone who's dedicated his life to the martial art. And also he's coached people like George St. Pierre, Gordon Ryan. He also coached George St. Pierre's coach and Faraz Zahabi. So yeah, he just knows a lot about jiu-jitsu and martial arts. So I would put this on the list, but I know a lot of people don't have access to a rope they could climb. But if you do have a rope that you could climb, I definitely would add it to your workouts because, if John Danaher says to, I would do it. And he actually gave pretty good reasoning in the video on why you should do rope climbs. Also, if you do jujitsu and you don't know John Danaher, he also has really good instructional videos where he breaks down techniques into like very minute details, and they're just really helpful, especially the one where he breaks down the rear naked choke. I'll link that video in the description also. But yeah, if you do these exercises, I promise you'll get a stronger grip. And there's a lot of benefits to getting a strong grip, but one that I found was, I used to be insecure because I had like somewhat skinny forearms. They have gone bigger since I started working out, obviously, but they used to be really, really skinny. And yeah, it was just something I was always insecure about. But once I got stronger, it's just not really something I thought about anymore. But yeah, just personally for me, once I started focusing on what my body can do and not how big it is or what it looks like, all the little insecurities kind of just faded away. And if you haven't started doing it yet, it will be the same with you. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that. And also one more tip, even though your grip will be really strong, something I used to do in middle school, which is like so stupid now that I think of it, but when I'd go in to shake someone's hand, I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to show them that I'm like a strong person, so I'd squeeze their hand as hard as possible, and I'd be thinking like, yeah, they're probably thinking, wow, this dude's an alpha male, he could squeeze so hard. But in reality, they were probably thinking, why the fuck is this dumbass squeezing my hand so hard? So yeah, just wanted to let you know that since your grip will be super strong now, don't try and like assert on other people when shaking their hands. Just make sure it's not a dead fish, but at the same time, don't try and like crush their bones, and you'll be fine. But yeah, your grip is something that's super important for martial arts. Another thing that's super important is your neck. It helps you prevent concussions, and you even use it a lot when grappling just to post on other people and stuff. So I have a video for that too. I highly recommend checking that out also. But yeah, give these exercises a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Just drop it in the comments section and I'll get a notification and I'll respond to it. But thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.